Is this going? Oh, I
Yeah,
don't know.
we're live. We didn't get any music.
Yeah, that was really weird. Guys, hey everyone. I have no
What's
idea
up,
what
everybody?
happened there. I clicked the intro and then like halfway through it just stopped running. Episode 41, the Iowa Waltz.
Oh, do we have to dance?
We don't have to if you don't want to, but it is highly encouraged that you do.
And considering it's a Sadie Hawkins dance, Patrick has to ask us, JD.
That's right. That makes sense.
So wait, I have to pick which one. I'm gonna pick JD.
That's a good choice.
I think he would be a better dancer. I'll be honest. I just get that vibe. I just think Chase is too cool to dance. I think that's the problem.
Fine.
Yeah.
You know the problem is I actually had to take like dance classes because I had a girlfriend in high school and then she talked me into it. So then I know how to do it, but then I never would.
Oh.
So yeah.
Do you not like to
You're
dance?
right. You're absolutely right. I won't dance. So yeah, JD's your man.
I'll make a fool of myself. I don't know.
I'd say, JD, do you like to dance?
If I have a couple beverages and some classic 90s 2000s hip hop playing, yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I like it.
Yeah, okay. I absolutely love to dance. I know that's shocking, but I love it. So good time. All right, guys. JD is our guest today. Troy is somewhere. We don't actually know. He's been responding to text messages loosely, so I assume he'll show
very loosely.
The best part is he invited me back on, and he's not even here.
He's not even here.
That's wonderful.
Maybe Troy was like, we can only have one person from Iowa on the show.
Oh, too much Iowa.
Too much Iowa. So I don't know if people have noticed yet, but the last like 5 or 6 show episode titles have been song titles. I've been really proud of that. And so when I was looking up for Iowa related song titles, y'all have a lot of songs related to corn. Like a lot.
Imagine that.
Like a lot. Yeah. And one of them was like Iowa corn, and it's like an homage to the cornfields of Iowa. And I was like, I'm going to go with Iowa Waltz instead. That's a little more fun. But yeah, good times. So how have you been, JD?
I've been busy. Life has been very, very busy for me this past year.
Yeah. You so I feel like last time you came on, we talked about you were getting ramped up for your new season. And
what's up, cool guy?
Hey, that's Troy.
Hi, Troy. How are you doing?
Well, I'm okay.
Okay. Can we get a little more than that, or just I'm okay?
I'm having a bit of an irritable bowel syndrome moment, and I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm going to lose you guys in probably 30 seconds because I'm about to go into a big mountain.
Okay.
Oh, I thought he was just going to lose the battle to irritable bowel here in a second. And that's it's like, well, I can't be on anymore. I shit myself.
I've got 4 paper towels to get me through from here to Green River, Utah, which is 115 miles, and there's no bathroom between here and there.
Why are you such a pilgrim with paper towels? Be a classy guy and get some dude wipes. Like, be generous to yourself.
There you go.
Lisa only grabbed me 4 paper towels.
That sounds like a Lisa move.
He called me in the bathroom and told me to grab him something. What the fuck else was I supposed to get?
Language.
Buddy.
There might be children listening.
That's rough.
Troy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry Lisa doesn't love you enough to get you wet wipes.
Troy, I truly, honestly, just don't even know what to do with this. Like, there's a lot coming here right now. I just don't even know. There's a lot.
I wasn't gonna come on, but I told Lisa I should probably say hello.
You should.
So I'm saying hello.
Okay.
Well, we're glad you did.
Thanks.
And
you quit the probiotic, didn't you?
The probiotic got back ordered, and so maybe either that or I probably got C. diff from Vegas again. So
We do have hand wipes.
oh, we do have hand wipes.
Oh, there you go.
So I think what we take away from this is the next show Troy's at, everybody needs to bring in a little package of dude wipes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, please.
Yes, breathe.
It's a big stack of them. They put them in the back of the truck, so he always has access to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Preferably the dude wipes ones are pretty nice if anybody cares about my butthole.
It's going to be way better than sugar.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Man,
What about you, Lisa? Would you like everybody to bring you some tampons or anything? Like some cinnamon?
No,
They're feminine napkins.
It seems like Lisa's on top of it. I don't think she needs us to bring her anything. You're the one who.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I can tell you that, that's not true.
Okay.
Typically, when her lady parts don't want to work,
Lord.
and she lives for 7 days bleeding, which is weird. I don't know how that works.
I actually don't do that, but okay.
I don't get, like, she's like, oh, I gotta go to the store, and it's always like we're always on vacation when it happens too. I think it's just because she doesn't want me to see her naked.
I think it's code for her to go. She just wants to be anywhere else at that moment. She's looking for your JD.
I just.
I wish I could menstruate. I would totally bail. Be like,
Just so you can have an
go.
excuse for 7 days a month for something.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. I'm gonna hop off here. I am gonna try to hang out in the comments for as long as I can, but the mountain is ahead of me. This isn't gonna be a good perspective at all because I'm on my phone, but it's right there.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. It's like very open roads ahead, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's a big
Patrick,
mountain.
the mountain's going to be there in like an hour, okay?
The mountain's gonna be here in about a minute and a half.
Troy, good luck. Thoughts and prayers.
Thanks, man. I have in my GPS right now, I have the next town that has a bathroom, just so I know how far I am away from safety.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, you keep playing the Oregon Trail and be safe.
Don't die of dysentery.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
Gary.
I'm gonna do my best. All right. Well, I love you all. Comments. I'm gonna be in the comments because I like those people more than you.
Yeah, that's fair. Bye. Love you.
See ya.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Oh shit! If I hit end, it ends us. You have to kick me out, Patrick.
Oh my gosh.
Done.
Well, that was painful.
Yeah, but there he is. Okay.
Patrick.
That was
best
a lot.
and worst of the week.
That phone call right there.
Which one?
Clip of the week. That's what that is.
Okay, best and worst of the week. Best of the week is tentatively my dog seems to be getting better, and that has been a really shitty 2 weeks for me. So that's far and away. That's my best. I don't have a worst because that's my bester. My best of the week is we just bought property for Chimera. So we just bought 2.5 acres. We'll be putting a new facility up over the next year, and I am super excited about it. So yeah, we're just we're going through the process now of all of the paperwork, which is absolutely awful. But assuming nothing goes cattywampus with that, we will have a new facility within a year. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. JD, best and worst of your weekend?
Ooh, of the past week?
Yeah, just the week.
This past week. So I was on travel for work for my day job. Oh man, I'm struggling if I would totally categorize that in the good category or the bad category. I would probably say the highlight of the past week is went to Boston for work. And for anybody that knows me, I absolutely adore sushi. That's a super big passion of mine. So I did get to eat at a sushi restaurant in Boston, which I've never done. So I had some sushi in downtown Boston. So that was probably the highlight. And then the downer was having to be gone basically 3 days on travel for the day job for work, because all that really means is normally you work a 5-day week. And for my job, if I'm gone for 3, that just means I cram those 3 days I missed into those other 2 days. So tomorrow is going to be a huge blast of catch up of all the things I missed over the last 3 days. So that's not going to be fun.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah.
Chase, best and worst, my man.
Oh man. Best of the week. Justin and I and the kids and Abby had a great baseball game Tuesday night. We super late, won 13-9, and it was a blast. And then I've got another baseball game tomorrow night and then another baseball game Sunday afternoon. So I'm staying busy this week with lots of good baseball, going from the Stripers to the Party Animals / Savannah Bananas to the Braves. So staying busy. And then worst of the week is I didn't get to feed today. Justin got to take my spot and feed because Greg is out and I was cleaning the rat room.
I love that you got to clean the rats instead of feed, because Justin was like a hard pass.
Unfortunately, I volunteered because Greg and I know what's going on in there.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that a subtle way of saying if Justin went in there, things would have gone sideways?
They would have gotten clean.
They would have gotten cleaned. I like it. This is Chase doing damage management and not saying anything that could damage anything. And I like
It's fine. It's fine. You know what? The facility's great, both the rodent side and the snake side, and I know that.
And I know that now. She's like, I don't trust him in the rat room, Patrick. Stop it. Just don't trust him. Oh my God. I love
work
that.
for you later.
That's it. JD, you don't breed any rodents, right? You raise you buy them all.
I actually get them from Troy. Yeah.
Oh.
So Troy, bless his little heart. I used to get rodents from Chicago area and also from Mark Bailey up in Minnesota for a lot of years. I mean, I've been getting rodents for 20 years. And basically what happened is, what was the name of the shipping company? Speedy Delivery.
Okay.
Was a Midwest delivery company that would haul live rodents and deliver them, which was great. Well, unfortunately, they updated the rules and banned a bunch of different animals that they would no longer deliver, and one of those was rodents. So that kind of, the frozen kind, sure, but live, no.
Yeah.
So that's when Troy, took the reins and said, "Hey, I'll cover your rodent needs. I just got to double some of my rodent breeding facilities, etc." So we right now have him as my delivery agent. He does a great job at it.
Nice.
Him and or Lisa and or Michael, they make the trek over to see me here in Iowa, down from Fort Dodge, Iowa, and drop off rodents every once in a while, catch a meal with them or say hi or that type of stuff. I hang out for a little bit, so that's kind of nice.
Nice. I feel like Troy has said in the past you're like 3 hours from him. Does that sound
not quite that bad? It's more like 2.
Oh, okay.
So it is a little bit of a haul for them.
Yeah, but that's doable. That's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not crazy. And I'll be honest, like I couldn't do it, but those guys, you've seen them. Everybody knows how much Troy and Lisa drive to all the shows, and they're just machines in terms of their ability.
Yeah, they're long haul truckers.
Dude,
that's right.
They really love it, right? Like there's a passion there to be on the road. Also, Lisa, to want to be on the road that much with Troy, that really is the actual miracle, right? We saw in about 6 seconds of him being on the show today what she goes through. And honestly, she's the real hero.
She is. Yeah. Yep.
Doesn't Lisa clean the rats too?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I like to make fun of the rodent deliveries because you can kind of tell sometimes when it's Lisa that picks out the rodents and packs them and it's Troy. I can kind of tell the difference. And usually it's, "Hey, Troy, I think you might have screwed up a little bit of my rodent order." Because Lisa's perfect. We all know this.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Ooh, that sweet lady. She is the foundation to that home.
I know that makes Troy feel good. Jason here. Lisa's the foundation. Troy, he's like a poorly put up wall. It's fine. It's fine. It's good. That's good. All right. So like I was saying earlier, last time we had you on, we were talking about the upcoming season, and I feel like we are now in the upcoming season. So how have things gone since the last time we had you on, JD?
Oh, so wow, we might end up unpacking a lot here.
Okay,
really
that sounds great. Let's get into it.
So the major short version is John Dague, JD at JD Construction, has gone through some pretty major life changes. So one of those major changes is I am now a single dad. So I have 2 wonderful kids that I am 100% solo parenting 50% of the time. And so that has been kind of where my priorities have shifted in the past 6 months.
Yeah.
So that's been a huge change for me, and realizing kind of all the work and effort that goes into maintaining a day job, being a single parent, and then also going through and trying to run a business on the side has kind of, I'll say, changed my priorities a little bit, because obviously my day job is my career as much as my reptile hobby is also a career, and then my children are absolutely my future. So as much as I want to breed 150 females every single year and deal with the clutches and fallout of that,
Yeah.
When you've got to be, the primary earner and manager of everything within a household, inclusive of being, again, a full-time dad half the time, you've got to prioritize things a little bit differently. So I've cut back on pairing the past 2 years, this year included, not doing a lot of pairings, just because simply a focus on family and focus on, what I'm trying to get used to in terms of my new life, as it were, that basically started at the beginning of this year.
Yeah. That's a
lot, man.
How much did the previous wife help with the animals themselves?
She was fantastic at shows. For any folks that saw Tiffany and
Yeah.
I at shows. I mean, she did a fantastic job setting up the booth, getting the booth going. Was great at interfacing with people. And I'll be super honest, she's better at putting names to faces than I am. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, who's that person over there? The at home situation with the animals was more or less I would do the cage cleaning and those types of things, and she kind of managed the children, and that's kind of how we divided and conquered relative
I got
to
you.
that.
Okay.
So I kind of managed the animals and she kind of managed the kids, but obviously it's a totally different dynamic
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. It's you got double the workload now, right? So
That's right.
So does that mean so you scaled up quite a bit right before COVID, beginning of COVID timeframe? Are you now going to start a scale down process, or like what's the goal then?
Yeah. So no, great question. So yeah, COVID, in 20 years of being in business, right? COVID and 2021 were our biggest years ever by a landslide. And so that was super duper positive for me, kind of gave me a vision of where I wanted to take things relative to, kind of maybe taking my day job and eventually teetering to maybe a part-time role, within the next 5 to 10 years, and then, escalating the snakes up. So that was kind of, I'll say, the gap filler, and I had more time for it. So that was kind of where I was headed. And now with this, kind of change in life plans, it's very much the opposite. My day job's become more of a focus. The kids are more of a focus. And so I'm kind of looking at, how I expanded. I literally doubled square footage, doubled the amount of animals we were pairing and breeding, all those fun things, which is exciting and fun and great, but it is so much work. Like, people don't even understand how many hours a day, a week, a month you need to be working with the animals, on top of, posting animals for sale, updating inventory, all that stuff. And I'll be super honest, like, I'm still getting adjusted, 6 months later, of what my new life's looking like. And it's like, I barely scrape by with a few hours here or there. I get the animals taken care of, but in terms of like generating sales, doing breedings, advertising, posting things, like it's definitely secondary, because you get home from a day job and you have the kids too, and then you get them to bed and you're just exhausted. Like, you're just done. So the on weeks, you're like kids, day job, and that's it. That's all you got time and energy for. Barely a chance to breathe yourself. And on the off weeks, you do have time. You play catch up, you do all that, but then you got time for yourself too, because you kind of gave that up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's all about balance.
I think that's something that, there's people listening that are still on a small scale and they want to scale up. Ball pythons specifically are super easy to keep, to breed, and to sell on very small scale. 10, 20 animals. That is literally a closet in a bedroom and a bathroom. Like, no problem. The moment you start scaling to where you're doing 30, 40, 50 clutches, the amount of effort and time that it takes to do it properly, you can do it, but it's not going to go well, most likely, is a lot. And I don't think enough people appreciate that. And JD, you're explaining that honestly perfectly, right? Like, life just gets in the way, and that's not a bad thing. That's the way it goes, right? And that's
a lot of people ask if I have like snakes at home too, and I'm just like, no, absolutely not.
It's funny. I feel bad. I played basketball with some new people today right before the show. And every time people find, whenever I meet new people at basketball or whatever, they find out, that I'm the snake guy. And of course, a million questions. And that was something that was asked today was, so how many snakes do you have at your house? I'm like, 0. And they're like, well, don't you love them? I was like, well, yeah, I love snakes. I wouldn't have 2,000 of them if I didn't. but that's my job and I gotta get away. Like
Right.
my pets are my dogs and my tortoises. That's it, because they are completely different. So Chase, I get it, like 100%. You got to have that break from that reality, because it's so much of our life is tied up in that now, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Chimera,
so much.
dude, Chimera, Andre and I like started tracking hours a bit, and we're spending, if you combined our hours, 100+ hours a week running this business.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are like Justin and I. Like we spend more time together than we do with our wives.
Yeah.
And I mean, we legitimately like we are together way more. We probably even go out to dinner way more just because we're out and talking snakes and breaking things down.
You nude together more.
That's true. That too. And so, JD, you coming in here and talking about pairing 150 females. I mean, that's a lot of work for one person on their own with, with help, with, a parental unit to help with the kids and stuff. Right. Once that aspect disappears, all of a sudden you're talking about trying to produce 50 to 100 clutches with no parental help. Like, absolutely not.
Right.
Like, no.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I feel you.
Yep. Yeah, just resonating in what you're saying, right? Like you don't realize how much work it is. And especially if you want the projects and the animals to hold value, you've got to have patience in the marketplace, right? It's not a game of, okay, hatched animals, and now I'm going to get 3 meals in them, and I'm just going to sell them for whatever will get them out the door.
No,
like that's not the right business mentality. That's not the right business approach. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah,
so you've got to have the ability to manage that inventory through the ebbs and flows of a year of sales and slow times and whatnot. But I assure you, it comes back around. You don't have to drop your $500 animal to $50 just to get it out the door.
Yeah,
within 5 weeks of hatching, just to be like, okay, all the work's out of the way. Sweet, I'm done. Like, no, that's not how you do it. Because then the next time you make that animal, it's worth $50, as opposed to 400 or whatnot.
Right. I think that's a delicate balance too, and that goes back to just having time. Like Andre and I have talked about this. There's a couple of like really big breeders that they produce so much, right, that they do like a lot of stuff just has to get sold immediately, right? And so price kind of becomes secondary to just volume. And it's like there's a lot of mental time and energy as well, just in figuring out, okay, as the clutches come out, what stuff can go on auction, what stuff can get wholesaled,
Right.
what stuff do I sit on? Like even just the effort and time just on that, right, to do it properly. Because you're right, you can, and some people will just be like, this has got to be gone in 5 weeks, doesn't matter the price. When some animals, sure, right, there are certain animals, they just got to go. That's fine. There's other animals where you got to think it out and be like, okay, is this an animal where I can throw it up on auction, and if I get 80%, that's okay for the market? Is this an animal that I just need to sit on, and if it takes 6 months to sell, then it takes 6 months? Like all of that effort. And I just, like you said, I don't think enough people appreciate that level of effort. And it's tough. It's tough. So,
yeah, and just the mentality of like having to rush it to like get the money back out of it. Mentality is kind of exhausting, because it's that situation where it may take longer to sell some of those animals, but once the right person sees like, hey, that's the animal I need for the project, it'll go. I mean, it'll go for the price you want, rather than just like, well, I'm just going to drop it real quick and get rid of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. that like cash out fear just has, I don't know, such a just negative impact.
It's a weird thing. Andre and I have been fortunate more or less our entire career at this point that we've never really had that. Like we've very much so just been like, if it sells, it sells. And if it doesn't, like there's inherent value there. And so we're fortunate in that fact, but there is a lot of the fear, right? The dollar in your hand is more valuable than a dead snake in the tank. Is that what Sean Bradley used to say?
Oof.
Yeah. And that mentality always, I hated it. Just because like, I get the mantra, right? Like I understand like, money in your hand is good. And if you have a live animal, there's the potential things can go wrong and you never get money for it. It's imaginary money. I get it. But at the same time, like that's kind of what we do, right? In the business. It's the reason the margins are so good on these things is the risk that we take.
Right.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Oh man. So this question is going to tie in a little bit to what TRS just asked. So he said, so at that level, when you have to make cuts on what you pair, how do you choose? So JD, as you're cutting down and trimming, what are the thought processes you go through on figuring out what gets to be bred for fun and what's got to go because, you don't got time?
Yeah, no, great question. And I've done this routinely over the years where it's just kind of been like, how many projects are enough projects? How many are too many? Those types of things. And you guys know as well as anybody, right? Like adding a new gene to your collection isn't one animal.
No.
Like it's numerous females you're going to hold back that have different genetic mutation combinations that you're going to breed to a different male, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to kind of reset in terms of, this is my belief, reset in terms of, okay, where do I really want to spend my time and energy?
Yeah.
Right. So for me, Xanthics was my first foray into, hey, I really want to focus. What is that going to look like? Because believe it or not, I didn't always have just Xanthics. I know, shocking, right? But now looking at my collection, where I see it growing with Xanthicism, obviously Xanthicism is still near and dear to my heart. That's where I want to stay. But it's for me, what doubles and triples from a recessive standpoint do I really want to go down?
Yeah.
And I have from day one always been a clown fan, and this is where I'll give credit to you, Chase, and Justin, in terms of what Canova's produced relative to clowns. I think everybody thinks that the clown stuff that you guys make routinely year after year is just amazing and awesome looking. There's a handful of animals, and I'm like, God, that'll be so cool.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. So it's inspiring to me, looking at what people make and then being like, okay, I'm going to put on my black and white glasses and be like, I want to make that in Xanthic or black and gray or black and silver or what have you. So I think clown for doubles and triples is where I really want to settle in, and I think clown for me is going to be a big portion of that in terms of, I'll say, the complex mutations, just like you guys do. It's just not just like it, obviously, but that's where I see the stacks of multiple genes being really, really cool to see, and something I'm super passionate about and I think looks awesome. And Xanthicism on top of all that, amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've had this conversation over dinner before, just where like how you like to try and envision these big multi-gene combos, but then in black and white. And it's it's always kind of cool to listen to you walk through that process.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where my mind's at. Is I've always been a big believer in patience and time. Like that's how you can stay relevant in the industry and do very, very well, is just being patient and having the recessive genes to kind of grow and build the projects, because it's really hard to play catch up in that game when you're doubles and triples ahead. So
yeah, big time. It's and just kind of like going along that same kind of thought process, not necessarily like cutting down the amount of clutches we're doing, but when we're upgrading females, like we only have like X amount of space, right? And so we're always like, well, what do we sell off now? And when we're kind of going through and making those hard decisions, we always kind of talk that if it hurts to sell, then yeah, it's probably the right time, because these girls are getting upgraded by even higher tier, more genes, and it hurts to let some of these girls go, but we've got to make that decision just to move up, just to move the ball forward. Just because, I mean, some of these pairings we're doing now, I'm like, man, this is cool, because it's like 8 to 10 years worth of stuff in the future just because of this one project.
Right.
It's weird for us. We're in a very opposite place now, Chase, because we're expanding, right? And so it's like we're letting go of nothing. There's animals in our collection that if we already have a list of animals that's like the moment space gets tight, they're gone. But it's also weird because there's definitely animals that we've held on to and we are holding on to where I'm like, I think normally if we weren't trying to get to a certain size, we would, they would be gone. Like they would not be holdback worthy, right? So, so with that question, Chase, as we talk about like trying to figure out when to cut something, right? So you have an animal, right, that lays 10, 12 eggs every year, fantastic producer, but genetically she's like okay or like good, right? Not great, but like good.
Yeah.
Where does production outweigh the genes involved in the snake when you're trying to cut?
See, that's kind of the interesting thing, is we're not always so focused on just like production and numbers. Like that's not the focus. It's more of just the genetics. And a lot of times like the numbers when we say that, you know, some people like think we're doing like 500 plus clutches, and we're not even close to that. Like we might hit 250 this year, and you know, it's the numbers come through though when I've got like, for example, like last year I had 4 double het black xanthic DGs girls.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah.
TSK.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Double het TSK Desert Ghost.
I'm sorry. I'm just repeating on what's on their card.
Yeah, sorry, y'all need to update some labels, it sounds like.
But you know, it's just, you know, the chances we have to take, and that's why,
yeah,
you know, a lot of the Xanthic Desert Ghost Clown stuff. You know, we're trying to, you know, get a lot of codoms, you know, not a lot, but trying to get codoms started into those projects. And you got to have those girls, you got to have the numbers, or it's just so hard to get further and further.
I guess it's a tough balance for me. Like when I look at, this is just like an example, right? So like, let's say I had, I don't even know a good example. If I have a yellow belly, this is very basic, but like a yellow belly het pied female that lays 12 eggs every year, or I have like a yellow belly pied female, right? Like obviously the yellow belly pied is an upgrade, which is a good thing. But if she only lays like 6 or 7 eggs a year, is it better to have that female versus the yellow belly het pied that breeds every year and pumps out 12 or 13 eggs, right? Like that's I think some of the tough cuts in my mind.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's like basic, and this is a little bit apples and oranges, but it's like that's sometimes for me where it's like those females though they produce every year, right? And they give a lot of clutches, or you know, a lot of eggs in each clutch. It gets really hard to get rid of those when you start looking at the odds, right? And you're like, well,
yeah,
I'm gonna get. I don't know. It's tough. I think that's where it comes. It's not easy. Also, I think we're talking about like one animal versus like. And I fall more, I think, in line with y'all. When we go and buy animals for projects, I'm not buying one animal for a project.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm buying like 5 females for a project because the odds are a couple of those are going to go within the first year or two, right? Not all 5. And so I think that's also a numbers game too. And so when we're talking about upgrading, and yeah, I mean, Chase, if the option is to upgrade like 4 females, you know, from clown double het xanthic desert ghosts to like multi-gene codom clown double hets, like obviously I'm just going to do that because the odds say it's a better decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And that's, you know, that exactly kind of what we've been doing, and it's just moving along those lines.
Yeah, it is tough though. It is a very delicate balance of staying on top of it, especially, and not being afraid to stay on top of it.
Well, and that's where I think a lot of people, as they grow too big because they don't stay on top of moving things out, they just keep accumulating and holding things back, and then that's when it fails. Because they don't take the extra time to trim the fat and make sure they're always super involved in the collection, making sure things are moving out the door as they bring more stuff in, if they don't have the space or the needs.
It's been a weird balance for us this year. We've been a little lean on male, a lot leaner on like breeder males than I would have liked. But it's been that like, man, those first year males, you've just been trying so hard to cycle them in so fast, right? Because it's kind of the same thing. You're trying to cycle them in, and it's like you want to stay a little bit lean, but you got to have those backup males as well. And so figuring out that timing of when exactly to let something go, it's hard. It's just hard. It's all of this comes back to guys like, as JD said, it takes time. Like all of this is time and effort and mental energy.
Yep.
It's tough. All right, JD. So we're just gonna sell half your collection and move on, right? Is that what we're gonna do? Just randomly?
I don't know about half, and I don't know about
a Plinko ball can just bounce down.
The Plinko ball.
This one's gone.
It's actually set up on the hatchling rack. We just walk into his facility, and you know
that would be pretty cool.
Put it in.
No, I did not.
No, for me, I'm a hoarder for the most part. So I pulled back so many females of different things and whatnot. Like I had like a dozen double het xanthic clown females from 2012.
Wow.
And I still have like 3 of them.
Yeah.
And that's only been like, I've only been moving those out within the past 2 years. And the reality was, and again, this goes to what's the market like? What are you doing? Yeah. How are the odds playing out? Those 2 things. The reality was I was using them to make xanthic clown, combos. Yeah, but it makes a lot of garbage is too strong a word, right?
No.
It makes a lot of wholesale
Byproduct.
pet animals byproducts. Right?
Byproduct. That's the
in
word
there
we
too.
use.
And that's okay when you
Yeah.
have a great wholesale outlet and you can move those animals. But when the market takes a downturn and then you have to sell those animals or move them or find a wholesale outlet from outside your normal venues that you use, like then it's like, well, this isn't worth it. Because then I've got all these extra mouths to feed. So it doesn't make a sense, to be like, well, I'm going to get this 10-egg clutch, but I'm only going to get 3 or 4 of the things I actually want to market and sell.
There it
And
is.
the rest of it is really like, get it out the door, get it to a pet store, get it to in somebody's capable hands that's going to put it to good use, but not something I want to put a bunch of energy into marketing and selling.
Yeah. No, I think that's really fair. You did have, maybe it was right at the beginning of COVID, man, you came out swinging with multi-gene Xanthic clown combos. Like, I swear,
Hard, yeah.
I swear at Tinley, you had like 40 different combos on your table at one point. Like,
I don't know if it was that many.
dude, it probably wasn't, but it literally felt like multiple cases of nothing but Xanthic clown combos. Like, it was shocking. I was like,
there was a fun YouTube video I did like the first year I hatched Xanthic clowns, and I kept it all under wraps, but then I like dumped out 20 Xanthic clowns on a table in a YouTube video. You can still get it. And that was back when they weren't that common.
right. No. So I remember you making double hets with a bunch of different genes because I remember seeing them on the site. I feel like you didn't have a double visual male till you bought one from Europe.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. You got a good memory, man.
You,
Yeah. So I spent years trying to make my own Xanthic
Yeah.
clowns from double het to double het. And then finally I ended up just importing a pair. I mean, this
Yeah.
is
This
10
was,
years ago.
this was like 2014, 2015, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And so I ended up importing a pair from Germany for substantial cost, but literally the next year started making my own, a double het to double het. And after that, I was like, I'm again byproduct, right? I'm not going to do this double het to double het stuff anymore. No way.
I remember talking with Andre, and I remember I remember for a couple of years you pairing and like you were like showing pictures of like the multi-gene double het females and stuff that you were holding back and all of that. And I remember seeing when you imported those Xanthic clowns, I told Andre, I was like, shit's about to get real. And then a year later, all of a sudden he's like, this is my Firefly GHI leopard ultra blah 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 clown Xanthic. And I'm like, there it is. He just needed the right male.
That's right. That's right.
But I actually think, honestly, I think that's the best selling point though I've probably ever seen. And I don't say this just to blow smoke. Like, you had everything primed to where the perfect male came in and just blew things out.
Yep.
And I try and I tell customers that all the time. Like, you can go out and spend 20 grand on a male, but if you don't have the foundation for that male to do work, it's worthless.
Yeah.
Correct.
In the same token, you can go buy a $5,000 male and make $200,000 with him if the foundation is right.
Right.
And so I think that was one of the best examples of that, where you had the perfect foundation for this male to come in and just absolutely slay.
Yeah. So just to piggyback on that, and this goes back to my comment on being a hoarder. I've produced a lot of Xanthic clown animals.
Yeah.
I think I've sold 3.
Yeah.
Because I kept them all.
There it is.
So it's about, you're exactly right. It's about that foundation, because I wanted to have one of my biggest regrets going way back in time to like 2005, 2008 is I used to sell Xanthic females because I was like, oh, I've got enough of them. I'm only breeding 20 animals, blah, blah, blah. But like 5 years ago, I would have killed to have 2 extra racks of just straight Xanthic females with some of the males that I had, just because it would produce everything that people were looking for and that I get hounded about, like Firefly combos and whatnot. So I'm not going to repeat that mistake. When I want to make really cool Xanthic clown combos, I need that foundation of Xanthic clown females that I can run those animals to and produce those combos with a reasonable probability.
Dude, I tell a lot of customers now, like, especially people that are coming into the industry like right this second, like, if you don't have a huge budget, go and buy a nice foundation of like double recessive females.
Yep.
hypopides, clown pides, exanthic clowns, exanthic pides. Like there's a solid like 10 different mutations now that you can get well under $1,000. A lot of those are closer to 500 at this point. And buy like 10 or 15 of those if you can, right? If you're coming in with 10 grand, go spend $5,000 on stuff like that as a foundation and then save that money. And then a year later from now, go buy a couple of just really, really, really powerful males.
Yep.
And that'll set you up so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, I think having multiple females in a project is infinitely better than like if my choice is like 3 hypopides versus like 1 inchipide, like, and that's all I have for that project, I'd rather have the 3 hypopides, wait a year, and then get a really nice male to get inchy or whatever I want mixed into it, just because of the odds game, right? Because
100%.
There's no guarantee. I have an inchipide het lavender that is a 2013 female that has never laid a clutch. I would have beat Justin to inchy dreamsicles.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
No, just an animal that doesn't produce.
Oh, no. Not today, Satan. Not today.
It's okay.
That's fine.
All right. That DG Pied is a lovely pet for someone out there.
Sure.
Thank you, Patrick.
You're welcome. We only sell the best at Chimera. But it's like, at the time, like I bought that female when I could have bought multiple like pied hets and then waited a year and then bought like an inchy, whatever male to go with those. And I would have made inchy dreamsicles most likely, a year or two down the road versus still haven't actually ever hit an inchy dreamsicle. It's weird. I feel like a poor.
It's okay. It's fine.
It's okay. You know what? I'm cutting
Courtney's in the chat if you want to double check that.
That's true. Courtney, can you let me know if I'm a poor? It's funny, Chase. I actually next Wednesday I'll be cutting my first chance at inchy dreamsicles.
That's exciting.
They'll also,
Congrats.
they'll also be potentially clowns as well, so that helps a little. But
there you go.
helps, but still, no bitterness. But to my point, like I think the foundation, like people can really do a good job of building a very strong foundation for a good amount of money now. And like you said, like you just kind of wait, hoard those females, and then get the right male or two, and it'll be paid off in spades. Much better chance.
Yeah, I mean they'll just be light years ahead. It's just going into it and just doing it like a business and not just a fun hobby all the time. Laying down that foundation like a business plan and be like, hey, well, I need this, and this is what's going to get me farther.
Yeah. Yeah, and it said summer on Morph auctions from Chimera right now. Exactly, guys. Go check out our auctions right now. We've got some great foundational females that are, a little bit on the lower end, but they're great animals. I mean, they're good stuff. I mean, there's a lot of deals to be had right now on especially like single and double recessive animals. Yep. Everybody's geared so hard towards triples and quads and pentas and septas and everything else, and
then we get to add all the codoms.
And then we get to add all the codoms, right?
Build the base.
That's it. You build the base and then you go from there. And sometimes too, right? It's building the base of like you put the pairing together knowing most likely you're keeping 0 of the males, but you're holding those females back because even if you don't make the perfect male for them in a year or two, you're going to buy that perfect male from somebody else, right? Because somebody else is going to sell it, and that's okay. It's like I said, it's a lot of thought that goes into it, a lot of mental energy, and I do think the mental energy part, honestly, is what separates a lot of people in the industry.
Yeah,
I think the care is relatively easy and straightforward. It's the mental energy behind all of this.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, we can all take care of pet rocks. What really comes down to it is making all the hard decisions late at night in the snake room.
That's true. That's true. They really are pet rocks. I have they really are. Like I have, quite a few hog noses now. And you go to feed the ball pythons, right? And for the most part, they're sitting in their tub and they're pretty chill. I can't tell you how many hognoses leap out of tubs trying to assault me. Like it is just a very different creature, and I love it. I love it. So yeah, they are pet rocks though. It's pretty great. Oh my goodness. All right, JT, with you scaling down, what does this look like for shows for you then?
Well, I think it's a downscaling of shows to a degree. I would tell you I'm trying to make a concerted effort to still physically go to shows,
Yeah.
just not then. So like Schaumburg's coming up. It's greater than a 50% chance, but just because it's just down the road in Schaumburg, about 3.5 hours from me. Definitely want to go, spend the weekend, talk to everybody, that type of stuff. But in terms of vending, just it probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me. Again, it goes back to, when you alternate weeks with kids and things like that, it's like, okay, do I really need to swap a day to make this work, to make the drive work? And then I'm up all night driving back and getting back late and then working the next day at the day job to pick up the kids. And then I'm tired and worn out and I don't want to do anything. The kids are happy to see, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to make those trades. And so I think show season for me is I really do want to make a concerted effort to, go to quite a few of the shows. I'm going to give a little shout out to Troy's new show. I went out there to Denver and loved it. I thought it was great. I think they put together a really, really great show. I know they have the North Carolina one coming up.
Yeah.
And they're going to be back in Denver in September. I'm definitely going to try and make the trip out there to see that show again and just attend and say hi and walk around and support those guys at the show. But I've always been a big Tinley guy. Like Tinley's always been the show that I've spent the time to go vend, to bring animals to. I don't think that's changing at all.
Yeah.
But I do think like with the move from Arlington to Dallas, did do Dallas this past spring. And it's a different show for me now. And with the limitations of my family and everything else, it's just going to be super hard for me to make the trek down there to Texas. So I think I'm going to stay a little bit closer to home, make what shows I can just to show support for the industry and the friends and the vendors. But probably for me, I'm going to stay pretty local and stick to Tinley.
That totally makes sense, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we obviously recently started vending to Tinley again due to the kind assistance of the person to my left. So appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a great booth buddy right next to you. He's such a nice guy.
Dude, he's fantastic. He brings donuts to the show. It's amazing.
Spoil you.
So much. But like Dallas is tough. I mean, I don't know what the drive is for y'all. For us, it's almost 22 hours.
12.
Okay, yeah, 12 is still that's still
a haul.
Yeah, it's still a haul. That's tough. And Dallas was it was an interesting show. I think first time in the venue, it's going to get better, I'm sure. But it was definitely there's some growing pains there.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that show in the future.
Yeah, it's not something that I'm probably going to say no to forever because I really like the people. I really like the area. But yeah, it's going to have to be when I really have the animals to support going and the time and the schedule with the family that I can make that work again.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all love Potter. Potter's great.
Oh yeah,
great, right? Like they put on a great show. It was tough. It was tough. And like I said, I think it's going to be better. Like I have all the confidence that they're going to pull this off.
Yep.
Yeah, Potter was talking about how they're already talking to people and getting getting it all worked out. A lot of the kinks worked out from the first time. So hopefully round 2 is going to be a really good experience for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Plus, go ahead, Jake.
Oh, I was just gonna say you almost can't expect anybody to go to a new venue and be like perfectly successful.
100%.
So
yeah. I think there was a little bit of unrealistic expectations of everybody being like, this is going to be spectacular. And it's like, it's the first time in a brand new venue in a very industrial part of Dallas. Like there's going to be some growing pains here, guys. So it's.
Yeah. I liked that venue it was in though. I hate that that's just going to be like an art exhibit now. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But because that area was amazing because it made it so easy to go to baseball games for the fall Arlington.
There it is.
Great.
There it is. Chase is like, it was really convenient for me to go to baseball games. Not the Snakes part, but the baseball game.
Oh, I'm sorry, Patrick. Did you not enjoy your time at the Rangers game?
I enjoy spending time with my friends, Chase. So that was a good time. I didn't need to go to a baseball game to have a good time. No,
you're just mad we didn't get the all-you-could-eat seats.
That's true. I was upset about that.
Those would be great seats.
The highlight of that specific Arlington for me was JD admitting that Terry Black's barbecue was actually good.
Oh, here we go.
It is good.
Thank you. That's all.
Hurtado's is better, but
JD, what's the barbecue we usually have for lunch?
down in Arlington,
Yeah.
in Dallas area, it was Hurtado's.
Hurtado.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
I know it's good.
So good.
Of course it's good. It's just not Terry Black's, but it's okay. It's okay. I actually was just more salty with whoever told you that Terry Black's wasn't good. That's really where I was salty. Because I was like, it is distinctly good. Like, it's fine.
Patrick, I take food advice typically from the people that have food Instagrams. And I don't the most I see you post food wise on Instagram are hot dogs. So
yeah, but I post a lot of hot dogs.
Yeah, we know you post a lot of hot dogs. It's
a lot
concerning.
of hot dogs.
You're a big Costco glizzy guy, aren't you?
You know what? While we're going to transition gently to food talk, the Costco hot dogs have gone down a little bit.
In quality or price? Or both?
Quality.
Both.
Price. Well, no, price has stayed the same since 1980. It's always been $1.50 for the dog and the drink, which is the true stable coin in the alternative, finance market. But yeah, the quality's just gone down. I think they just can't keep up with a good hot dog for that price anymore, and it's just disappointing. It's really sad. So that's my 30-second update on Costco hot dogs.
Hey, I watched a video of a dude that only ate Costco hot dogs for a week.
And
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was amazing. He lost 10 pounds.
What?
I mean, water weight, but
the dude, yeah, I would believe that he lost 10 pounds if that's all he ate, as long as he was eating
$5 a day. You could eat for $5 a day. That's it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dirt cheap. Like if you can afford the Costco membership, you're good.
Well, it's like $5 a day, right? And then you're probably actually only eating like 1,800 calories a day, because if you're just eating the hot dogs and the drink, like not a ton of calories there either. Yeah. Okay.
So one thing just to circle back on, because we're kind of talking about venues a little bit, not to get off hot dog talk. I know you love your wieners, Patrick.
I do love my wieners.
Tell me I'm crazy, right? Schaumburg is one of the, if not the best venue to go and go to. And what I mean by that is the layout, the setup, the hotel, like it's all really.
Oh,
really
dude, the
nice.
hotel in Schaumburg.
The hotel's fantastic.
Yes, the best.
I haven't gone to Schaumburg yet. I'm very much so on the fence, trying to figure out with JT right now if we're going to go or not. We keep going back and forth, but I'm hoping to go because every person I've ever talked to that's been there has said it's an incredible show. I partially kind of wish Potter would just move Tinley to there. Honestly, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
I don't disagree. Like, I mean, Tinley's got everything. It's got the history. It's, got everything that comes with it. But if you told me that there was a new Tinley, like one of the times, that's twice a year, that's now at Schaumburg instead, I wouldn't be disappointed. That is a great venue. It's a great layout, and the hotel is fantastic.
I wish they could just swap venue, because it's a bigger venue, right? Significantly bigger venue, so we could get more
nicer and newer.
It's nicer, it's newer, and I know
elevators work.
I know that when we had Potter on, he talked about how he felt like people go to Tinley because it's Tinley, and I mean, he has the numbers, he has the valid argument. I just have feelings, right? But I feel like people go to Tinley because it's the October show, and that's like the show off show. That's when, in general speaking, like all of us, our hatchlings have hatched and they got some good size now, and we're ready to show that stuff off. And I really do feel, just in my heart, if you move Tinley, the October Tinley show, to Schaumburg, it would get just as big. It would be just as big. I really just feel that way. But what do I know, right? I'm just.
If you magically could split the show into two parts and just have an all weekend show at two locations, and vendors got to pick what building they were in and or what hotel they stayed at, I would tell you I would pick the Schaumburg one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that from a lot of people. Look, I will say though, Tinley has the Asian restaurant across the street, and guys, that place is sneaky great.
Dude, the restaurants around Schaumburg are so good though too.
There's a ramen spot so good.
Okay. All right. You got me.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, Patrick, I have a new ramen place to take you, by the way, when you come stay another weekend.
Oh, we need to plan that soon because the pandas leave in September, right?
Yes.
Okay, we got to plan that soon. All right, we'll figure something out. I'm excited about ramen now. That's good.
Yes.
All right. JD made it very clear to me that he had to be out within an hour. We have 5 minutes. JD, what do you want to talk about? What do you got? You got 5 minutes left. What do you want the world to know in 5 minutes? Go.
Well, I mean, the big thing is, did you guys drop the Chat GPT story thing? Because I feel like that.
It's not really happened the last few times.
It's been kind of hit or miss. Do you want to do one, JT?
Let's do it. So let me tell a little bit of a Chat GPT story. So a couple guys at work just were like all about Chat GPT. Being an engineer, I'm very familiar with it, but I never bit the bullet.
Okay.
So then I'm like, okay, I'll give this thing a try. So like literally a little over a month ago, I got a subscription to ChatGPT. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play around with it.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed.
It's incredible.
So awesome. 9 times out of 10, I use DALL-E just to make art and like take a picture of something, and then I make some goofy video or picture, or picture from it, those types of things. I made t-shirt designs that said, I have the world's biggest micro penis, like all kinds of fun stuff like that.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. Like reread my emails, sort through data. It's fantastic. So
it has
my small plug. It's gonna change the world.
It has. I mean, I've been using it now since ChatGPT 2.0 or whatever, like a couple of years now, and it has shifted everything we do with data science, with like non-patient data, like data that can go into the universe and it's okay, that doesn't matter, but like. Right. Even just automating like coding tasks where like I would need to write something that's like 200 or 300 lines of code and then like just change minor details within it. Being able to be like, here's the initial code. Here's a list of changes I need. Can you please go make 47 renditions of this exact same code with my changes? And 47 seconds later, it's done. Like something that would take me hours before, right? It really has changed a lot. Yep. Yeah.
Well, and the latest, not to delve into this too deep, but the latest one, I'm sitting there coaching it up on, my kids.
Yeah.
And using the voice to have the kids talk to it and have it tell them a story at night.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Rowan likes Minecraft. Okay. What would you like to hear about Minecraft? Dragons and this, and creepers. Okay. We're going to tell it. Do you want Finley in it as well? And then it'll start telling us the story that is just invented based on all the scripting that had already been done ahead of time in terms of teaching it.
I actually so one of my friends had a kid like right as ChatGPT was really taking off in like the universe, right? And I had ChatGPT write his kid like a story, and we actually had it print then we had like AI art done for the story, and then we made it into a little book as a birthday, like a year-old birthday present for him. Because like you said, like it's actually like it's surprisingly creative. Like it's gonna change everything. It's also gonna take over the world and get rid of humans, but it's gonna change everything.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, what do we want the story to be about today? What's going on? Let's see here. Do we make this about Troy?
Let's do it about Troy.
Troy has IBS and is trying to get home from Vegas to Iowa, and things are going poorly.
Yep.
All right, let's see here. Let's see if we can get this 150 word.
Very concerning IBS story. I'm ready for it.
All right.
And he only has 4 sheets of paper.
Yeah, there's
4 sheets of paper towels. Oh, okay. Oh, I need to also tell it he is driving, not flying. That's an important part here. Troy's Vegas trip was ending, and so was his stomach's tolerance for all-you-can-eat buffets. He set off on a long drive back to Iowa, his belly rumbling like an angry volcano. Just outside the city, traffic ground to a halt. Clenching the steering wheel in his stomach, he realized he had only 4 sheets of paper towels left in the car. Souvenirs from a particularly messy hotel breakfast. Each mile felt like an eternity as he searched for a restroom. At every rest stop, the lines were endless. Adding to his anxiety, he finally found a small, dingy gas station in the middle of nowhere. Bursting through the door, he discovered the restroom was out of order. Back to the road, things went from bad to worse. His GPS rerouted him through a deserted, bumpy back road with his stomach in knots. He prayed for a miracle. Eventually, he spotted a lonely porta potty at a construction site, barely making it in time. Troy ruptured the porta potty. He turned to his car, clutching the last of his paper towels, vowing to never eat at a buffet again. That's good stuff.
We laugh. He's going through that right now.
Yeah, he is.
Right now.
Truer words have never been spoken.
And Lisa's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, I love it. All right, JD, what's the best way for people to reach out to you at this point?
Yeah, the best way to reach me is via email, john@jdconstriction.com. And other than that, we are on Facebook as well as Instagram /JDconstriction, all one word.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Chase, how about you, bud?
Oh, you can find me at JKRMGR on Instagram and Canova everywhere else.
Perfect. Guys, Chimera Reptile. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe the YouTube channel. We desperately want to keep growing. Also, just share our content. That's the least thing you can do. It's kind of nice. It's easy. It's free for you to do, and it helps us out a lot. So next week, we're going to have Sean Barnett on. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Troy also should be on. So that'll be fun. With all that being said, guys, we love you. From Chase, JD, and I, thank you so much for joining us. And we will see y'all next week.
Thanks
for having
everybody.
me.